The McDonald's paradox: familiarity and hidden realities. Every day, tens of millions visit McDonald's, drawn by its consistency and familiarity. But this widespread trust hides a complex reality. This video will uncover the less visible aspects of the fast food empire, exploring its impact beyond just a quick meal. We'll examine the details that might make you reconsider your next order. This is the dark side of McDonald's. McDonald's markets simplicity, like 100% beef. However, the reality is more intricate. The removal of ammonium hydroxide in 2012, after public exposure, illustrates a lack of transparency. The supply chain involves numerous steps and suppliers, far removed from the idealized image. McDonald's fries appear simple, but their composition hides a complex chemical reality far beyond basic potatoes and oil. The original recipe relied on beef tallow, rendered animal fat, to achieve that distinctive flavor profile. When McDonald's switched to vegetable oil in the 1990s for health reasons, they needed to replicate the beef flavor. This led to the addition of natural flavor ingredients, which are complex chemical mixtures designed to mimic the taste of beef tallow. A 2002 lawsuit revealed the lack of transparency about these ingredients, particularly misleading vegetarians who believed the fries contained no animal products. McDonald's food is engineered by food scientists, not just cooked in a kitchen. The bliss point refers to precise ratios of salt, fat, and sugar that stimulate cravings. This science-driven approach exploits dopamine pathways in your brain, making you want more food, regardless of your discipline. According to experts like Marion Nestle, this engineering creates addiction-like responses, with studies showing significantly increased cravings after consumption. McDonald's invests heavily in marketing to children, creating a highly recognizable figure in Ronald McDonald that appeals even to toddlers. This strategy involves significant investment, with McDonald's spending $1.5 billion annually on global advertising and $500 million on U.S. child-targeted campaigns. Research shows the impact of this early exposure. A 2025 JAMA study found that children exposed to Ronald McDonald consumed 20% more fast food as adults. This isn't accidental. It's a deliberate strategy to establish brand loyalty before children can make informed decisions about their choices. McDonald's allocates a substantial portion of its advertising budget to children, utilizing cartoons, toys, and Happy Meal promotions to foster lifelong consumption habits. The company spends $1.5 billion annually on global advertising, with $500 million dedicated to U.S. child-targeted campaigns. Happy Meals include toys featuring popular characters, creating positive associations with the brand. Mascots like Ronald McDonald have evolved to virtual influencers, but the brand's nostalgic appeal persists. Marketing tactics include iconic slogans and creative campaigns designed to build early brand loyalty. Research shows that children exposed to Ronald McDonald ads consume 20% more fast food as adults, demonstrating the long-term impact of these strategies. Health experts have criticized Ronald McDonald for promoting unhealthy eating habits to children. Pediatrician Dr. David Ludwig from Harvard warns that brand loyalty starts early, with a 2025 study showing kids exposed to Ronald McDonald ads consume 20% more fast food as adults. Despite calls for his retirement, McDonald's has continued to use the mascot, adapting its image for the digital age with virtual influencers and reduced appearances. The company still spends $500 million annually on U.S. child-targeted advertising. McDonald's locations near schools are a significant concern for public health. As of 2026, McDonald's operates near 8,500 schools across the United States. Research shows that students living within 0.5 miles of fast food restaurants are more likely to be overweight. A 2025 updated study found 25% higher obesity rates among these students. This proximity reinforces unhealthy eating habits among vulnerable populations. For example, in Chicago during 2024, community protests led to the closure of 2 McDonald's locations near schools. Brand loyalty formed before the age of 7 is extremely difficult to break. McDonald's cultivates relationships with consumers from a very young age, creating lasting habits that extend into adulthood. This early influence is a key part of their long-term strategy. The McDonald's brand has evolved over decades, starting from simple text-based designs in the 1940s to the iconic golden arches that symbolize familiarity and trust. This consistent branding helps create a sense of history and reliability in the minds of young consumers. Through targeted advertising like this vintage Happy Meal promotion, McDonald's appeals to families and children with fun imagery, toys, and the friendly Ronald McDonald character. These campaigns are designed to create positive associations that start early in life. Scenes like this child excitedly enjoying McDonald's fries illustrate how early experiences with the brand create lasting memories and habits. Research shows these early connections have long-term impacts on consumer behavior. According to recent studies, children exposed to Ronald McDonald advertisements consume 20% more fast food as adults. Additionally, McDonald's locations within half a mile of schools are associated with 25% higher obesity rates among students. The company spends $500 million each year on advertising targeted specifically at children. McDonald's is a major employer, yet for decades it has resisted paying its workers a living wage. Starting wages rose to an average of $15 per hour in the U.S., up from $10 in 2019, but this came only after state mandates and union pressures. The company's practices have come under scrutiny for allegedly exploiting its workforce to maximize profits. CEO Chris Kempczinski earned $28 million in 2025, creating a pay ratio of 1,900 to 1 compared to median workers earning $12 per hour. Automation through kiosks has accelerated, with over 70% of U.S. locations using self-service technology by 2026, reducing cashier roles by 20% since 2020, and eliminating 50,000 jobs nationwide since 2018. This exploitation is evident in the stark contrast between executive compensation and worker pay, as well as in historical budget guides that showed workers needed multiple jobs to survive. Economic trends show minimum wages have not kept pace with costs, as seen in comparisons of wages to Big Mac prices over time. In 1980, minimum wage bought 6.2 Big Macs per hour. By 2022, it bought only 0.91. Looking ahead, unionization spikes and strikes in 2025-2026 highlight growing resistance to these practices, pushing McDonald's toward fairer wages amidst automation challenges. In 2013, McDonald's released a budget guide for its employees that was meant to help with financial planning. But what it revealed was shocking. The guide assumed workers would need 2 jobs just to survive and allocated $0 for food expenses. This exposed the harsh reality of minimum wage work at the company. Looking at this sample budget, you can see income from 2 jobs totaling over $2,000 per month. Expenses like rent and utilities add up to more than $1,200, leaving barely enough for basics. The most telling part, no allocation for groceries, highlighting how workers were expected to go without eating properly. The public reaction was swift and furious. Critics called it exploitative, showing how the company profited while keeping wages so low that employees couldn't afford basic necessities. McDonald's quickly removed the guide, but the damage was done. It became a symbol of worker exploitation in the fast food industry. The fight for $15 movement demanded higher minimum wages for fast food workers across the United States. McDonald's responded not by increasing wages, but by investing heavily in kiosk technology to replace human cashiers. This automation demonstrated a clear preference for technology over paying fair wages, sending a strong message to the workforce about corporate priorities. The disparity between McDonald's CEO compensation and the median salary of its frontline workers is significant. This ratio highlights the growing income inequality within the company and the broader fast food industry. McDonald's CEO Chris Kempczinski received $28 million in compensation for 2025. This includes salary, bonuses, and stock awards. In contrast, the median salary for McDonald's frontline workers is $12 per hour. Many workers rely on tips and part-time hours to make ends meet. To visualize this disparity, compare the scales. The CEO's compensation dwarfs the worker's hourly wage. This creates a staggering pay ratio of 1,900 to 1. The CEO earns nearly 2,000 times more than the median worker, underscoring the income inequality within the company. McDonald's presents itself as environmentally responsible, with pledges to reach net zero emissions by 2050 and initiatives for sustainable packaging. Their sustainability scorecard highlights progress in areas like diverse leadership and certified sourcing. The net zero commitment is prominently displayed in their branding. However, these public commitments may be greenwashing, hiding the true environmental impact from beef production and other practices. Beef emissions account for 70% of McDonald's carbon footprint, yet progress toward net zero goals is minimal. Recent finds highlight misleading sustainability claims. Beef production is a major contributor to global greenhouse gas emissions. As one of the largest purchasers of beef, McDonald's faces significant challenges in reducing its environmental footprint. According to the World Resources Institute, agriculture accounts for 11% of global man-made greenhouse gas emissions. This sector includes livestock production, which is particularly impactful due to methane from cattle digestion. Beef production specifically accounts for 14.5% of global greenhouse gas emissions, according to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. Methane released during cattle digestion is particularly potent, contributing significantly to climate change. The carbon footprint of cattle varies by life cycle stage. The cow-calf stage accounts for 70% of emissions, while stocker backgrounding and feedlot finishing phases contribute 13% and 17% respectively. This shows how early stages of beef production are the most environmentally intensive. McDonald's beef supply chain alone emits approximately 10 million tons of carbon dioxide annually. As one of the world's largest beef purchasers, the company faces significant challenges in transitioning to more sustainable practices while maintaining its menu offerings. The environmental impact of beef production underscores the urgent need for sustainable agricultural practices across the industry. Environmental scientists have criticized McDonald's climate targets for beef reduction as vague and unverifiable. These targets are seen as insufficient to meet the goals of the Paris Agreement. In 2021, Client Earth, an environmental law charity, filed a formal complaint against McDonald's in the UK. The complaint argued that McDonald's marketing and advertising made misleading claims about their environmental practices, promising sustainability while continuing harmful activities. This case, which resulted in a ruling against McDonald's in 2023, exposed how greenwashing can deceive consumers about a company's true environmental impact. Client Earth's complaint specifically targeted McDonald's ads that claimed to be reducing emissions and promoting sustainable practices, but the court found these claims were not supported by evidence. McDonald's had to pay significant fines and modify their advertising to be more accurate. Greenwashing refers to the practice of making unsubstantiated or misleading claims about a company's environmental friendliness. McDonald's case demonstrates how companies can use vague language and selective data to appear sustainable, while their actual practices, like sourcing beef that contributes to deforestation, continue to harm the planet. The Client Earth complaint serves as a warning about corporate greenwashing. Consumers should look for verifiable evidence behind environmental claims, such as third-party certifications and transparent reporting, rather than relying on marketing slogans. Despite its sustainability claims, McDonald's continues to expand, opening new locations and selling more beef. This growth contradicts its environmental pledges and raises questions about its commitment to sustainability. McDonald's expansion is evident in its global presence, with over 42,000 locations worldwide and continued growth in beef sales, despite commitments to reduce environmental impact. Past sustainability highlights from 2012 show early efforts, but the company has entered the race to net zero while continuing expansion that undermines these goals. This paradox highlights the challenge of balancing corporate growth with genuine environmental responsibility. Greenwashing is when companies claim to be environmentally friendly while continuing practices that harm the planet. McDonald's uses this strategy effectively, promoting sustainable initiatives in their marketing and reports while their core operations, especially beef production, remain major sources of environmental damage. Take their global presence, seen here with the iconic logo, and restaurants worldwide. McDonald's expands rapidly, but this growth often comes at an environmental cost through deforestation and high emissions. Their sustainability reports, like this one, feature attractive graphics of solar panels and recycling, suggesting commitment to the environment. But these documents often highlight minor achievements while downplaying the massive impact of their supply chain. The truth is revealed in the details. McDonald's pledges ambitious goals, but their beef sourcing still contributes significantly to global emissions, accounting for a large portion of their carbon footprint. Reports may show some progress in packaging or energy use, but the fundamental issue of beef production's environmental toll persists, making their green claims misleading. This greenwashing allows McDonald's to maintain a positive public image among consumers concerned about the environment, all while making only minimal changes to their damaging operations. McDonald's represents a system that has been perfected over decades, not through malice, but through relentless optimization for profit. It's not inherently evil. The corporation itself isn't a conscious entity. Instead, it's a highly efficient machine designed to maximize returns from every aspect of its operations. From food, McDonald's has refined techniques to extract maximum profit, often at the expense of quality or ethics. From workers, McDonald's has refined techniques to extract maximum profit, often at the expense of quality or ethics. From children, McDonald's has refined techniques to extract maximum profit, often at the expense of quality or ethics. From environment, McDonald's has refined techniques to extract maximum profit, often at the expense of quality or ethics, all while carefully maintaining a friendly, approachable public image that keeps customers coming back and shields the corporation from scrutiny. This relentless focus on profit optimization across all fronts has made McDonald's, in many ways, the perfect corporation: efficient, profitable, and enduring. Understanding how McDonald's operates as a corporate machine reveals its structured hierarchy and profit-driven systems. From the CEO at the top to regional operations, this organizational chart shows the command structure that drives global decisions. By studying this machine, you transform from a passive consumer into an informed individual. Awareness of these systems empowers you to make conscious choices and challenge corporate practices that prioritize profit over people and planet. Knowledge of the machine gives you power to demand transparency, fair wages, and sustainable practices. This awareness creates a ripple effect, encouraging others to question and change the system from within. Knowledge is power when it comes to fast food choices. You can still enjoy McDonald's, but with knowledge. Understanding the company's practices allows you to make informed decisions about what you eat and support. By learning about their operations, from food engineering to environmental impacts, you can choose responsible alternatives that align with your values. Knowledge empowers consumers to demand change, pushing companies toward transparency and ethical practices. If this video made you think, share it. To dive deeper into the dark sides of other major corporations and systems, subscribe to our channel. We're just getting started in uncovering these hidden realities.